Is your car's AC getting weaker every summer? Even with the fan on max, it barely cools. And shops push expensive fixes you might not need. The truth is, your system probably isn't broken. We'll show you 15 tricks to make it blow colder than it did brand new. Most cost under $15, and several are completely free. And the final tip? It's one hidden screw that silently leaks heat all year long. Let's start with the free button you've been using wrong for years. Tip number 15. Use recirculation mode to cool twice as fast. If you're blasting AC with outside air streaming in, you're forcing your system to cool 100 plus heat every second. Flip to recirculation mode, and the system starts reusing already cooled cabin air, instantly cutting the workload on your compressor and speeding up cooldown by up to 50%. In real-world tests, switching to Recirc dropped vent temps from 18 degrees to 10 degrees in half the time. That's not a small tweak. It's free horsepower and colder air faster. Behind the scenes, this little button lowers system pressure, protects your compressor, and even saves fuel or battery range. In EVs, Recirc can trim HVAC energy use by over 30%, which means more miles between charges. And in traffic, it also blocks dirty air, allergens, and NOx pollution. Use it when the outside air's hotter or dustier than your cabin. Just remember to crack it off occasionally in winter with a full car to avoid fogging. Smart habit, zero cost, big payoff. You fixed the airflow inside. Now let's patch the leak that's stealing your cold air before it even starts. Tip number 14, seal the radiator to condenser gap. Ever wonder why your AC feels icy on the highway but weak at stoplights? It might be because a bunch of hot air is sneaking around your condenser instead of through it. See, when there's a gap between your radiator and condenser, even as small as half an inch, up to a third of your fan's airflow escapes, never cooling the refrigerant. That means your condenser is cooking while your AC struggles, especially in traffic or drive-through lines. The fix? Seal that gap. Just grab a $10 roll of closed-cell weather strip foam, EPDM is best, and line the space between your radiator and condenser. Use isopropyl to clean the surfaces first, then stick it in place. You can even zip tie it if you want a backup hold. Avoid open cell foam. It soaks oil and falls apart. Drivers who've done this have seen vent temps drop 10 to 15 degrees. One guy with a classic Camaro saw his AC go from a low 56 degrees, frosty 40 degrees, without touching the refrigerant. And OEMs already do this from the factory. It's just that age, repairs, or aftermarket parts often leave the gap wide open. Patch it up, and your AC will thank you every summer stoplight. Tip number 13. Insulate the suction line under the hood. That thick rubbery pipe near your car's firewall, the one that's always ice cold, that's your AC suction line. And it's leaking cold for free every time the engine bay heats up. When that line absorbs heat from the exhaust or hot coolant hoses, it quietly robs your system of 3 to 5 degrees of cooling at the vents. Most people don't realize it, but cooler suction means a cooler cabin. It's that simple. By wrapping just the hottest stretch of that line in a reflective or foam sleeve, you block out the radiant heat that bakes it all summer. Think of it like putting a koozie on your AC system. In fact, long-haul truckers and classic car owners swear by it. Some report 5 to 7 DGF cooler vents after a 15-minute wrap job using $10 insulation. Just don't overdo it. Leave the last few inches unwrapped so the system still burns off excess refrigerant before it hits the compressor. This isn't some mod shop myth. OEMs like Mercedes and Toyota do it from the factory. You're just finishing the job they didn't. Before we move on, make sure you're subscribed. We're all about giving your car a longer, cheaper life without the usual nonsense. One tip might just save your next repair bill. Tip number 12, unclog. This tiny hose or your AC will choke. There's a little rubber nipple under your car, usually on the passenger side, that's secretly the MVP of your AC system. It drains the water your evaporator pulls from humid air. If that hose clogs, and it will if you drive through dirt, leaves, or just let time do its thing, you're in for a silent disaster. Blocked drain means trapped water. That means mold, foggy windows, wet carpets, and worst of all, the coil ices up. You'll get cool air for 10 minutes, then nothing. The AC teases you, then quits, until the ice melts and the cycle repeats, all because of a $0 problem. Fixing it is simple. Slide under your car, locate the rubber hose, which is usually near the transmission pan or subframe, and gently squeeze the tip. If nothing comes out, poke it with something soft like a plastic straw or weed trimmer line. Never use a metal pick. Nicking the rubber creates a permanent leak. You're aiming to break loose leaves, dirt, or gunk that wedge inside the check valve slit. Once the clog clears, you'll often hear water gush out, and you'll feel it too, with colder, steadier vent air. Drivers have literally restored 5 to 7 degrees of cooling in seconds just by clearing that tube. It's a $0 fix that can dodge moldy carpets, a fried blower motor, or even a $1,500 evaporator job later on. Smart habit? Check it once a season. Tip number 11. Clean the cabin blower motor and ducts. If your AC feels weak even when everything else seems fine, there's a hidden villain stealing your cold air, your blower motor fan. Tucked behind the glove box, this squirrel cage fan flings air through your evaporator. But over time, it turns into a lint trap. Dust, pollen, pet hair, even old leaves wrap around the blades, choking airflow without you noticing. The result? Less air moving over the evaporator means warmer vents, longer cooldowns, and a compressor that has to work harder than it should. Just a thin layer of gunk on the fan can drop airflow by 15 to 20%. That's the difference between decent and wow cold. Cleaning it is a simple weekend win. Pull the glove box, unbolt the motor, and gently vacuum the blades with a brush attachment. A few DIYers even saw a 5°C drop in vent temps without touching the refrigerant. It's one of those no-cost, high-reward habits that most people never think to check. But once you do it, you'll wonder how you ever drove in summer without it. You've cleaned what pushes the air. Now, let's talk about what quietly chokes it off before it cools anything. Tip number 10. Make sure active grill shutters are working. Most people think those little grill shutters up front are just there for fuel economy, but they can absolutely wreck your AC if they get stuck. These shutters sit right in front of your condenser, and if they don't open fully, your AC system gets starved of airflow. No airflow means the refrigerant can't dump heat, pressure builds, and suddenly, your vents are blowing lukewarm instead of ice cold. On average, a stuck shutter can raise your vent temps by 10 to 12 degrees, especially in traffic. Ford, GM, and Chrysler engineers have all logged that exact swing during testing. And it gets worse. Your compressor has to work overtime to compensate, your fan runs full blast, and your MPG quietly drops. Fixing it can be as simple as removing debris, cleaning up the hinges, or zip tying them open if you're in a bind. A flashlight, a quick look behind the grill, or even a freeze spray test can reveal the issue with no tools needed. It's one of those easy to miss issues that punches way above its weight once fixed. Tip number 9. Keep your engine's idle speed in check. When you're stuck at a red light and your AC starts blowing warm air, the real problem might be your engine's idle speed. At low idle, especially below 700 RPM, your car simply doesn't spin fast enough to power everything properly. The alternator slows down, voltage drops, and your AC loses the juice it needs to stay cold. It's not just about airflow, it's about the power that runs your fans, clutch, and blower. If idle sits too low, especially in older cars or ones with a dirty throttle body, the whole cooling system starts dragging. And no, your dashboard won't throw a warning light, it just gets warmer inside. A quick clean of the throttle body and an idle reset can bring the engine back to its sweet spot. Once it's holding steady around 750 RPM, your AC gets back on track. cooler air, fewer struggles, and no more fanning yourself at every stoplight. Even with perfect idle, there's one sneaky reason your cold air slips away before it hits your face, and it's hiding in plain sight. Tip number 8. Fix worn door seals and weather stripping. Cracked, flattened, or peeling weather strips are like invisible holes in your cabin. They let in hot, humid air, and your compressor has to work overtime drying it out. That can slow your AC's pull down by up to 3 minutes and raise vent temps by 7 degrees. Even tiny leaks matter. Engineers found that a single collapsed seal adds enough airflow load to cost you an extra 15 liters of gas per summer, or chip a few miles off your EV's range every week. It also triggers side effects you'll recognize: foggy windows, musty smells after rain, or that annoying wind whistle on the freeway. The fix? New OEM seals cost $40 to $100 per door, or you can DIY with $15 bulb tape and a hairdryer. It's one of those upgrades that sounds boring until your AC stops feeling weak and your cabin turns into a proper cold zone. Tip number 7. Clean or replace your ambient temperature sensor. Your car's AC brain starts with one number: outside air temperature. If that sensor under the grill reads wrong, it tells the system to cool less aggressively to avoid freezing, even if you're roasting in the cabin. That means lukewarm vents, short compressor cycles, and a whole lot of disappointment. Sometimes it's not broken, just dirty. A bug splatter or film of road grime can throw it off by 10+ degrees. Use electronics cleaner or gentle car soap and a soft brush, then dry it with low-pressure air. Don't blast it, these things are delicate. If it's still stuck showing 37 degrees on a summer day, swap it. Most cost $20, $40, and take 5 minutes to replace. This one tiny sensor controls compressor duty, recirculation flaps, and fan speed. Cleaning it can drop your vent temps 10 degrees instantly. And if your car has a button combo reset, do that too. It's the HVAC version of a hard reboot. Even with perfect readings, there's one quiet setting that tells your car to hold back the cold. It's subtle, sneaky, and costs you comfort. Tip number 6. Turn off Eco mode. If you want max cold, that little Eco or Econ button on your dash, it's quietly sabotaging your AC. When Eco mode is on, your car deliberately limits how cold the air gets to save a few cents on gas or a few miles of EV range. It cuts compressor power, slows the fan, and even mixes in warm air sooner. You think your AC's weak or needs a recharge, but it's just software throttling chill to hit EPA efficiency goals. Turn Eco off, and most cars instantly blow 5 to 9 degrees colder. On hybrids and EVs, it's even more aggressive, cutting AC performance to protect range, even when plugged in. This habit costs maybe $1 or $2 a week, but it saves your sanity every time you step into a 140-degree car. Tip number 5. Apply high-quality window tint or UV film. Glass lets in over 50% of the sun's heat, and once it's trapped, even a strong AC struggles. A quality ceramic or IR reflective tint blocks that heat before it builds. We're talking up to 64% of total solar energy rejected, even with a nearly clear film like 3M Crystalline 70. That's cooler glass, cooler dash, and a cabin that starts at 20 DGF lower with no extra fan speed needed. This isn't about making your windows dark. It's about blocking heat you can't see. Premium films reject infrared, not just visible light, which is why a clear tint can outperform even limo black dye. Bonus, less work for your AC means less fuel or battery drain, and up to 5% better real-world efficiency. The best part? Once it's on, you never have to think about it again. It just works. Tip number 4, replace that weak AC relay and check voltage drop. Most drivers never think about it, but that tiny $15 relay under your hood could be strangling your AC from behind the scenes. When relays age or terminals corrode, they drop just enough voltage to starve your compressor clutch and fans. It doesn't take much. A 1-volt loss can drop clutch force by 20%, which means it slips, overheats, and your cold air fades fast. Start by checking voltage at the clutch connector connector with the AC running. If it's more than half a volt lower than battery voltage, you've got a problem. Swap in a known good relay, clean any corroded terminals, and recheck. If vent temps suddenly drop 10 to GF, you nailed it. Think of it like this. Full voltage means full pressure. Weak power starves your system even when the refrigerant is perfect. One swap, two tools, and your AC might start working like it's brand new again. Great! Your compressor's finally getting the juice. Now it's time to make sure your cabin is too. Tip number 3. Replace the cabin air filter. A dirty cabin air filter won't just smell funky, it silently cuts your airflow by up to 40%, which means your vents can feel 5 to 10 degrees warmer even if your AC system is totally healthy. It's like trying to cool your house with the windows barely cracked open. The blower strains harder, sucks more power, and moves less air across the evaporator, so it takes forever to chill the cabin. Swapping the filter takes 7 minutes in most cars. Just drop the glove box, slide the old one out, and pop in a $15 replacement. If yours feels damp, dusty, or smells like gym socks, it's overdue. Bonus, vent temps usually drop immediately, and the cabin cools twice as fast with no tools, no codes, just better breathing. It's one of those tiny maintenance moves that saves fuel, avoids mold, and delivers that wow, this feels colder already moment the second you switch it out. Tip number 2. Cap off the heater core in hot climates. Your heater core might be sabotaging your AC, and it's doing it silently from behind the dash. Even when your heat's off, that little metal box stays packed with 200-degree engine coolant, radiating heat inches from your AC system. On a scorching day, that adds up. One test in a Cadillac showed the vent temp dropped from 50 degrees to 43 degrees just by blocking coolant flow. The fix? Cap off the 2 hoses that feed the heater core at the firewall. It's a 5-minute job with a couple of brass plugs, or a $15 shutoff valve if you want to switch it back in winter. You'll get colder air faster, especially after a hot restart when the dash would otherwise be heat-soaked. Drivers in desert states swear by this. Less compressor cycling, cooler footwells, and lower under-dash temps. Some even report longer compressor life and better mileage on long hauls. Just don't forget, no heat means no defrost, so it's a summer-only mod. But for a near-zero cost, this one tweak can shave 7 to 12 degrees off your vent temps and finally make max AC mean what it says. Before we tighten that last screw, let's fix the one thing every car quietly loses, year after year. Tip number 1, refill your refrigerant for factory level cold. If your AC used to blast icy air and now it just sort of cools, there's a good chance it's not broken, it's just thirsty. Your car leaks refrigerant slowly by design. Seals breathe, hoses flex, and over a few summers, you lose up to 7% of the charge per year. That's enough to raise vent temps by 10 to 15 degrees and make every trip feel like a slow roast. A $40 DIY recharge kit, just one can with a built-in gauge, can bring your system back to factory performance in under 10 minutes. You're aiming to get low side pressure around 35 to 40 psi on a warm day. That's the sweet spot where cold air pours out, not just dribbles. Bonus, the added refrigerant also carries vital oil, reducing wear inside the compressor. Just don't overdo it. Too much pressure and you'll actually make it hotter. It's a smart fix, not a guessing game. Now for the forgotten screw that lets heat creep into your car like a slow leak. It's the one securing your HVAC blend door actuator. Over time, with dashboard vibration and age, that tiny fastener can loosen just enough to cause the actuator to misalign or flex. The result? Your blend door won't fully seal off the hot air path, even when you're blasting max AC. Most owners never check it because it's buried behind the glove box and technically still works, just inefficiently. Tightening it takes 30 seconds, and in summer, it can mean the difference between lukewarm air and true deep chill comfort. Now that your AC is blowing colder, why stop there? Our next video covers simple habits that push your car past 500,000 miles with fewer repairs and zero dealership drama.